Sup everybody, it's me, Isaac. Now let me get started by saying that what I did was wrong. First off, let me tell y'all what led up to don't make jokes about jacadamia. You see, I met these people who would tend to trash talk each other, and at first I didn't get it. Why are these people insulting each other and enjoying it? Then they started trash talking me. My response to this was to mock them and point out how confusing and wrong it was by doing the same thing and over-exaggerating all of the badness I saw within. In the end, they pointed out that that was hypocritical, which it was, and we seemed to have settled the dispute. And me still sitting there trying to understand figured, hey, maybe they're also doing the same thing I did and are mocking those who insult people. And so I kept that way of thinking around with me since then. Fast forward a bit, and I start watching these people who make the internet out to be a not-so-serious place. And let me add that although it may be hard to believe with all the things I did and said, but I believe in Jehovah, God. And around these times I was slowly forsaking his word, and in effect was getting consumed by these worldly, ungodly things, and was being led down a path of suffering and destruction, man's ways, strange ways. And in effect, I was getting worse and worse, feeling worse and worse, and I didn't know why. The only thing that was keeping me intact at those times was my faith in our God. I never let that go. And now, after a while, me and my partner in crime, Toxie, got bored, and so took place foolishness and wickedness against someone who was already beaten down by the world, and by what it appears to me now was also being led down the same dangerous path that I had taken. And so I shared this event first with the people who I considered to be my friends. A few of them rebuked me, some insecure about it and unknowing how to approach it. Some didn't really mind, and one who encouraged me to further enhance my foolishness by producing a video, and so such was produced. Based on man's knowledge and understanding came forth sorrow, hate, disappointment, confusion, and destruction. And by then I broke down. My heart sank despite what I said. I was uneasy, and so was my friend Toxie. And so I left. I left these silly people who were my friends because of what had happened. I was ashamed and didn't want them to see it. I still kept in contact with Toxie and the person who encouraged me to make the video. And so for a while I laid low, working on things and hanging out with Toxie. Eventually Toxie reconnected me back with a few of these friends, and then the person who encouraged me to make the video invited me to his Discord. And sure enough, most of my friends were there. Still a bit uneasy and still in the darkness. But despite it all, I kept my faith. Eventually I became paranoid and suspected for what I had done. There were people out to get me. Eventually I started lashing out at some of my own friends because of this. And eventually I snapped, and figured to finally leave them, all of them, and so I dwindled. I worked on projects and did schoolwork, unsettled with everything. I finally, after all this time, went to read God's Word, and thus I was revived. I became better again. Never forsake his word. The internet affects reality, and reality affects it. Just because there is a screen behind you and the person you're communicating with doesn't mean they're not a real person. So treat them as such. Insulting someone is still insulting someone. Just because it was meant as a joke doesn't excuse what you did to them. Don't mock things, otherwise you become the thing you mock. Some would say that Isaac was a character, but in all honesty it was more so a nickname, rather than a character. And I want to finally and officially leave him as that from now on. All I wanted was a laugh, but I went about it the wrong way, and finally I want to encourage all of you to abandon sin, abandon man's ways, abandon destruction which sin causes, and look into our God's ways. How can I do that, you may be asking? Read his word, the Bible, and give your heart unto him. I love all of you and don't want y'all to suffer. God bless y'all, and have a fantastic day. I'm leaving the Isaac YouTube, Twitter, and the I'm Sorry Discord account for good. With, of course, uploading this video, posting it to said Twitter account, and placing it in Jack's Discord as exceptions. I'm going to be working on other things. I'm sorry, Jack, for insulting you and the people who look up to you. Goodbye, and God bless y'all.